What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Jaymes Howell's Chiefs Talk. My name is Jaymes Howell. To my left, to my right, whatever direction, my legendary co-host Chase Riley. Chase, how you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm fantastic, man. How are
You're
you?
absolutely muted, 100% muted.
Am I? Are you sure?
Uh-oh. Thanks for joining in, everyone. Stay tuned as we talk about our Kansas City Chiefs. Hey, look, while he's figuring out his technical issues, I just wanted to take the time, ask everyone. Look, first off, I appreciate everyone that's tuning in tonight. We really do appreciate it. We just like to get on here, talk Chiefs. We like to get other Chiefs fans in here and talk with us, have a conversation back and forth. This is Jaymes Howell's Chiefs Talk. It's not a podcast. This is supposed to be a conversation back and forth. With that said, make sure that you go hit that like button, that share button, leave a reaction, a heart, a smiley face, or whatever, thumbs up. Make sure it's on. Mic is on. I still can't hear you.
Hey, Chad, is my audio good?
We're having problems. I still can't hear you. Hold on just a second here. I can't hear anything, as a matter of fact.
It's him.
It's me. It's me. There it is. There it is.
Yeah, there you go.
I wonder if my headset's not working here.
That's
anyway,
all right.
How you doing tonight, bud?
Technology's fantastic, man, when it works.
Oh yeah, when it works. Here, let me see if I can. There it is. Now I got my headset going. All right, buddy. So, how are you?
I am fantastic, sir.
Anything crazy going on in your life? Selling that house out there?
No, man. I am. I am working on. Long story short, my father passed away from cancer in June of 2019. He left me his house, and we've let my mom stay in it. So my mom is transitioning out of the house, and we are getting it fixed up, and we're going to be putting it on the market soon. It's up here in St. Joe, about probably 5 minutes from training camp, if even that. So.
Man, and when are you supposed to be selling that? Because I might need to use that house, come August and late July and August. Need a place to stay out there.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. Like, I considered, because the house is paid for. It's mine. I own it outright.
Right.
I considered turning the basement into like a studio, but the house is worth a lot of money, and I can't justify not selling it. It's I guess when I sell it, I'll just have to add on to my house down south.
Yeah,
I'll have a studio onto that one.
Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with that. At least get your green screen. I'll tell you that.
Heard that. Wish I didn't, but I did.
All right, man. So we kind of talked about last week some of the big names that we've had. Oh, real quick before we get into it, the social medias. Like I said, like, share, subscribe this podcast. If you're enjoying what you like, you think someone that might enjoy the same thing, go ahead, tag them in it. And then make sure you follow us at JHowell1. You can find me on Twitter. Also, I've got all my social medias in the description, Instagram and Twitter and YouTube and all that good stuff. And then my buddy Chase here, you're at CR Media 1988
on all social media platforms. On YouTube, it's a little different. On YouTube, if you just search up CR Media, it's not hard. I mean, there's a couple on there. Until I gather up some change to copyright this name and kick them some bitches out, you have to search for me on YouTube a little bit. But all of my links can be found on my Facebook, on my Twitter, on my Twitch. So
Yeah.
you can definitely get the YouTube link on there as well.
Yeah.
Um,
Next week I'll have to
also,
make sure I get it in the description too.
also want to plug my TikTok because TikTok has this thing where you can't go live until you've hit 1,000 followers. I'm
Hmm.
like right over the cusp of 300, man. So I'm trying to truck along and get to 1,000 as fast as possible. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. That way we just have another platform to go off of.
that's right. That's right.
So, but like I was saying, man, it's been a kind of crazy off season. We started things off and it was real slow. A lot of Chiefs fans were getting concerned that there wasn't any real moves being made. And then it was like the Tyreek Hill trade happened, and then Juju and MVS and Justin Reed, and I mean it happened so fast that like we missed several. Um, how my question is this are we going to take a step forward this year? Because like I kind of like deep down I'm a fan and I want to be like, hey, yeah, of course we are, but I feel like this is a regression almost.
Well, what I'll always say is that you know I'm going to put my faith in two people, and that's Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, and I've my trust is in them. Um, you know whether you think that bringing Eric Bieniemy back was a good move, a bad move, an indifferent move, bringing Matt Nagy back was a good move, bad move, indifferent move. It at the end of the day, as long as Andy Reid is the one calling the plays and Patrick Mahomes is the one throwing the ball, I don't give a damn who he's throwing it to. Just put some big bodies out there to protect my quarterback, and that's all I care about.
Yeah,
And
and they've done that.
and yeah, and and I have full confidence in Patrick Mahomes to take care of the rest.
Right.
Um, a lot of these moves, because like I said, whether you like it or you hate it or you're indifferent to it, whether it's the Tyreek Hill move and the King's ransom, as you said last week, the King's ransom we got for Tyreek Hill,
Yeah.
or letting Tyrann Mathieu walk because of the money he wanted. Same situation with Tyreek Hill, of course. We got a trade, but all those different moves. Like I said, whether you like it, you hate it, you're indifferent to it, you're gonna see that. You know, Patrick Mahomes. Don't get me wrong. I loved Tyreek Hill. I'm a huge Tyreek Hill fan,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, it was Patrick Mahomes throwing Tyreek Hill the ball. And that's why we went out and got McCole Hardman. If McCole Hardman could run routes the same way Tyreek Hill could, you know, Patrick Mahomes could make McCole Hardman a great player or a good player, a really good player. I want
Yeah.
to say great. I feel like that word "great" is thrown around so much. So let's take a step back on the word "great." Um, but he could definitely make McCole Hardman look really good. And so, there's just remember who we have thrown the ball. So
Then April 1st came and you sent me that stupid meme and sent my anxiety through the roof. Yeah, I sent her this meme. God, which one was it? I think it was the Patrick Mahomes one sent
getting
to
traded to Miami,
getting traded to
yeah,
Miami.
that's
Yeah, she was like, what? What do you mean?
yeah,
And I was talking to her, and yeah, yeah, that was good.
yeah. The Chiefs were trying to give Miami the house.
I'm trying to, bro. Dude, they would have to like, and as much as they gave up for Tyreek, man, like Miami would have to give up double that. I don't know about double, but a lot more for Pat. I mean, they just couldn't do that. So
So before we get into this thing, because we've got a lot to cover tonight, but before we get into it, I'll tell you what I want to do. I want to. Something just popped in my head when you were talking about the Patrick Mahomes thing, and I think I sent it to you during the off season when we were on break, so we didn't really get an opportunity to talk about it.
right,
But there was a word going around the league that the Washington Commanders had reached out to the Kansas City Chiefs about a potential trade for Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
And people were like just dogging on the Commanders. Number
Yeah.
one, the Commanders are a trash organization to begin with, but the people were just dogging on them. Did you really reach out to the Chiefs for a trade for Patrick Mahomes?
Right.
The Commanders actually came out and said, yes, we did, but we actually reached out to all 32 teams
Everyone.
about their starting quarterback. So that's hilarious.
Yeah, I seen all the memes come out and show like the trailer and the Bugatti Veyron sitting next to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
So
go ahead.
I was gonna say just to jump into this thing, man. So we're taking a look back at the 2021-2022 season to start off with, just to kind of kick off this this legendary string we've got going on here. James, what is your takeaway from the 2021-2022 season?
Well, I think it was a learning thing, man. I think there was a lot of good lessons learned, and I think Patrick Mahomes, as great as he is, got even better. What we did see a lot of in 2021-2022 season, and it seemed like we were talking about it every week. Cover two shell, over and over and over and over again. The Chargers kind of, figured that out the year before, later in the season. And then Tampa Bay took advantage of it. And, it kind of ended up being part of the reason why we didn't win the Super Bowl. They had a good game plan, and a lot of other stuff happened. But in the 2021-2022 season, we've seen a lot of it. So I thought it was great for Mahomes because he got to deal with it, and he went through it all season. And towards the end of the season, he was starting to get more and more and more comfortable, more and more efficient, being able to operate when defended by that cover two shell. So that was my biggest takeaway.
Yeah. I couldn't 1,000%, I couldn't agree with you more. I 1,000% agree with you. My takeaway from the season was, you're right, it was a learning curve for Mahomes and the Chiefs, because they were able to, when the league his sophomore season says, or well, technically his junior season, but when the league turns around and says, hey, we think we figured this kid out, he's finding other ways to win, and he's finding other ways to move the ball down the field. So excited enough to get this offseason under his belt, and let him get comfortable, let him learn some new things from Matt Nagy, let him continue to grow underneath Bieniemy and Andy Reid.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say that the season was a disappointment. Of course, we were all disappointed when it ended and how it ended. Of course.
That was the biggest deal, is how it ended.
Yep.
If we would have went, Donnie, yo, what's up, buddy? Nice to have you in here.
Yeah.
If we would have went and just like got our asses handed to us by Cincinnati, it would have been a lot easier to bear. But because we dominated the whole entire first half, and then came out there and blew a lead, which we have now started to see several leads blown under Andy Reid, which was a big issue in Philadelphia, him letting off that proverbial, gas pedal.
Yeah.
And so it was a little disappointing. Successful season, sure. AFC Championship, hell yeah. Disappointing, sure, yeah, it was.
Yeah. Four AFC championships in a row, and I'm never going to not give credit where credit is due as far as Andy Reid is concerned. He absolutely deserves that credit. But those 4 AFC championships come at the helm of Patrick Mahomes. If Patrick Mahomes isn't here, if the Chiefs don't take Patrick Mahomes in the 2017 draft, then there's no guarantee. In fact, I probably would bet my house, both of them, on the Chiefs wouldn't make those 4 AFC championships without Patrick Mahomes. So,
well, what the question is? Let me ask you this: if you, I don't know if you know off the top of your head, but what other quarterbacks were drafted that we could have gotten?
Deshaun Watson.
We could. That's true. Mitchell Trubisky.
Yep, Mitchell Trubisky, who was taken before Patrick Mahomes, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, but and Patrick Mahomes makes sure that the Bears know about it every time. I wish I had a little clip here of him
counting on his hand how many times or how many picks were picked before him.
Yeah. So, and then, to me, I really thought that the Chiefs offensively. Okay, so last year the defense once again gets off to a pretty slow start, and I've kind of come to expect that. It's just like a gelling process. There's a lot of moving parts within the defense. So, if they're not really doing that well in week 4, week 5, I'm not really tripping over the defense that much. We've seen this happen year after year with Steve Spagnuolo's system.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really that worried about the defense last year, though it wasn't good. But offensively, even with Tyreek Hill, they were not as explosive. And if you have a player like Tyreek Hill that you basically center your offense around, you live and die by the deep ball, and the rest of the NFL has figured it out and has figured out how to defend that. You have to change things up. And that's why we see, like, did we want to keep Tyreek Hill in-house? Yes, we did. We made him a big offer. We just couldn't pay him what he wanted. And so we decided to take the route of changing things up. And I think it's for the best. I really do. Sometimes you just need to change it up a little bit because your offense, as of right now, is, in my opinion, stale.
Yeah.
Evolution. He said it right there. Evolution. Yeah, you have to be able to evolve. And Andy Reid has proven that he's one of the best at it. So, and like you were saying earlier, you trust Andy Reid and Brett Veach. They have a plan. Brett Veach had a plan last year, went and executed it. And this year they have a plan, and we're starting to see it all unfold.
Yeah, I agree.
So what was your biggest takeaway on, like, what was our biggest struggle last year?
The deep ball on defense. I think that was our biggest struggle. So, the offense, we expect the offense, like I've said 100 times on this show, we expect the offense to put up 30 plus points. Mm-hmm. And that's unusual for an offense in the NFL. I mean, when you're in the top 5, the top 10, 8 teams in scoring and on offense, mm-hmm. We expect the defense to hold their end. We expect the defense to carry their weight, and they just didn't. And I think it showed last year. That was our biggest takeaway and our biggest struggle.
Yeah, defense and the deep ball.
Yeah,
Terrell. I hope I said that right. Yeah, 100%. I mean, like I just said a minute ago, I thought that, like, under Steve Spagnuolo's system, it takes a couple weeks for the defense, and we did have a stretch of like 7 weeks where the defense played at an elite level. Was that because they were able to mask some things? along the way, maybe protect some of their players, give them help over the top, or you know scheme things up a certain way. Yeah, I 100% believe that. And that's why towards the end of the season, our defense started to struggle again because offenses figured out how to beat what we were doing.
Yeah.
um we This is my only downfall with Brett Veach so far, is the fact that he has not invested into the secondary at all. Like, just diddly into the secondary. I know we got Rashad Fitton, Juan Thornhill, L'Jarius Sneed. Okay, but like, we're still getting burnt. One of the biggest reasons why Tyrann Mathieu has not signed is because of how many times the Chiefs got burnt,
Yep.
with that deep ball last year. And now NFL execs, they they think that he's kind of lost a step. I know that he had a meeting with who was it? The Saints.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
Tyrann had a meeting with the Saints.
and that's when you see Tyrann Mathieu, a very passionate individual. So he's very he's very deep in his roots. He's from Louisiana. He went to LSU. That's very common to see players like that go to their hometown teams just to kind of see what they're offering and what they have.
Yeah.
I think he could walk away with an offer from New Orleans.
Yeah.
But on the other hand of that, I wouldn't be shocked if he didn't.
Well, I also think that the Saints, because of all that you just said, I think that the Saints might very well think that maybe they can get a hometown discount.
Yeah, maybe.
And throw that offer out there to him.
Yeah,
I think he's going to invest this year in our DBs. I'm hoping so. I'd really like to see at least one of the first 3 picks that we have. It can even be in the second round, but at least one of those first 3 picks. I'm thinking wide receiver. I really like Jameson Williams from Alabama. I know he's coming off of, I think that was his name. He's coming off an ACL tear. I've watched a lot of film on him and his recovery. I really like him. He's big, tall, fast receiver.
yeah,
And he might be available. I'd really like to see a defensive end, maybe that guy from Michigan, Ajobu, I think was his name. That would be, and then a cornerback or a safety,
yep.
out of those top 3 picks. And we have to, or go get Stephon Gilmore, or James Bradbury, or somebody.
Yeah. To kind of piggyback, to backtrack a little bit and piggyback off of what you were saying about the Saints getting a hometown discount, man. You're going to see Tyrann Mathieu. This is what blew my mind when Tyrann Mathieu elected to hit the free agency. Was that somebody said Mathieu was looking for his 3rd big contract in his career, and that's unheard of, especially for a defensive player who's over the age of 30. And
Yeah.
and should be hitting the downhill. Now, whether Mathieu is or not, it's debatable. I don't want to start a 15-minute debate about it, but I don't know if Mathieu deserves another big contract, for where
Yeah.
in his career. So you could be right. He could be getting a big fat hometown discount from New Orleans.
And Terrell's right. It doesn't bring the boom. It does seem like he didn't, from the year before, he just didn't have as much pop.
Yep.
He didn't have as much explosiveness. He wasn't getting to his spot. He wasn't. It seemed like he lost a step. I mean, and now this is an untrained eye. Like, I watch football, of course, but I'm not a scout. I don't. I don't watch football like that. I just kind of analyze things, evaluate things, and then we talk about it.
Yeah. Hey,
Um,
let's bring up this comment from Terrell. because I want to plug.
I knew it. I knew you were gonna.
I want to. I want to talk about this comment from Terrell because what I want to do is I want to plug my host. Okay, so Terrell and anybody else watching right now, when James and I keep in touch, we message each other through, we text message each other all the time. Um, and what happened the day that Tyreek Hill said, "Hey, I want to trade," and as soon as we got the tweet that Tyreek Hill had been traded, James messages me and say, we're talking about it, and he's like, "Dude, there's a lot of draft stock there," and he goes, "Dude, I'm going to say this between you and I." And he goes, "This is just, I haven't heard anything. I haven't read anything, but this is just my gut feeling. I think the Chiefs go out and go get DK Metcalf." And then I was like, "Really?" And I started looking into it. And literally, this was seconds after the Tyreek Hill trade. So there was no rumors of DK Metcalf moving on. I don't
Nothing.
even think, had the Russell Wilson trade happened yet?
Yeah. The
Okay.
Russell Wilson trade had. Yeah.
Yeah. So, when he told me that, I went in and I went down all 32 teams, all 31 teams, minus the Chiefs, of who could be in a rebuilding phase and could want to get rid of their top wide receiver because they are in a rebuilding phase. And when I came across Seattle, I was like, son of a bitch, man, he's right. And
That's just what made sense to me, and he's not lying. It was literally seconds after it had all been reported.
yep,
I hadn't heard anything. I hadn't heard any rumors or anything, and then it seemed like everywhere we looked,
yep,
they were talking about the DK Metcalf stuff
yeah,
right after I had just said something to you.
yeah. It was crazy. And Terrell, I think we could give up a few picks for him, and I think it would be wholeheartedly worth it. Um, you know,
They're not going to get as much as what we got for Tyreek. Not even close.
no,
I'm thinking like a second and a third or something.
yeah, no. If we, um, if that was the
Yes, we
case,
do.
then DK Metcalf would have been gone because teams would have been knocking on Seattle's door for him. And Seattle's got so much draft stock right now from the Russell Wilson trade. I mean, if somebody came knocking on Seattle's door to offer them what we got for Tyreek,
Yeah.
DK Metcalf would have been gone a long time ago. So
Yeah.
I don't think there could be a lot to offer. I think I think we could offer that a second round pick and maybe a couple of late round picks this year and
Yeah.
or next year,
Yeah.
and I think Seattle would belly up, because it's when they got rid of Russell Wilson, it was clear what their intentions are. The Legion of Boom is gone. The Russell Wilson's gone. It's clear Seattle is rebuilding. They're done.
Yeah.
So um,
Yeah, and I think a lot of the reason nothing has happened yet is I've heard a lot of rumors about Green Bay also being in talks with Seattle about Tyler Lockett
yeah,
and DK Metcalf. Now, I believe Tyler Lockett just signed a new deal. I, I'm not 100% on that, but I do believe that Tyler Lockett just signed a new deal. So that leaves DK.
yeah,
And and it might be like who Seattle might be playing a game here. Well, Green Bay offered us this, and okay, well, Green Bay, Kansas City offered us this, and so now we're playing this back and forth, and we just have to make sure that we're not gonna overpay for DK. I
absolutely.
like MVS, um, Marquez Valdez Scantling, nailed it. um
Hey man, I'm glad it's you and not me.
Hey,
Because
I work hard. I work hard on those pronunciations, like Tua Tagovailoa.
yeah, good luck
Yeah.
with that, man.
um, but yeah, I like MVS. I like Juju. I don't think Juju is great. Is uh, what everyone is hoping he'll be. I think he's maybe a little bit better than McCole, But I also think without Tyreek Hill in the locker room, McColl's gonna have more of a chance to flourish. Uh,
Yeah.
You know, he's just Tyreek took every role that required a speedy receiver.
Yep.
You know, and he didn't have it. McColl didn't have any opportunity. Like he had opportunities. I'm not trying to cover for McColl at all. He's had plenty of opportunities, but I think he's gonna just get more. So if we don't get
I
DK,
think it,
if we don't get him, I'm not mad about it.
yeah. Like I said, I wholeheartedly agree about McColl. I think there's plenty of room to spread the ball around, but like what was brought up, Terrell mentioned we have 12 picks.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of room to be spread around. There's plenty of options for the Chiefs to do. It's very exciting. I did want to, he mentioned, that he's ready for the draft. I'm ready for the two. Um, you know, Terrell, if you haven't done it already, we would greatly appreciate it if you smash that follow button, smash that like button, hit the
Yeah.
share button. We're going to be talking draft stuff as we get closer to the draft. We're going to be talking prospects. We're going to be talking where the Chiefs sit as far as picks, who we could see the Chiefs taking, and looking at doing mock drafts as well. So greatly
Yeah.
appreciate you joining with us, man. Love having you, and would appreciate it if you stayed.
All right, my man. Look, this looks like a good time to talk about this thing I got here.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I about knocked over my green screen. All right, guys, look, check it out. Look, we got this 8x10. I know it's kind of hard to see, but it's an 8x10 of Tyreek Hill. You're not gonna get very many more of these. There's not gonna be very many more produced or anything like that. Black and white with the color. Phenomenal picture. Got the certificate of authenticity on it. On the backside, these are two separate photos. I got Rashad Fitton, right? And it's kind of blurring in and out because of my green screen settings, but Rashad Fitton, certificate of authenticity right there. Look, we're giving these things away. We're giving them away. All you have to do is go click on the link in my description that says Super Draft link. You know, it'll have like a little thing talk about Super Draft, and there's a link, Jaymes Howell Sports. You sign up for the $20 package, you get an entry. It's that simple. Now, Chase, tell them what Super Draft is, bro.
Super Draft Pro is the future of daily fantasy sports, guys. No more of this. I'm not going to mention those guys by name because they don't sponsor us. We don't have a partnership with them. But the big kahuna, the big D, okay? Those
Uh-huh.
guys. The big DK. Not DK Metcalf, but the other big DK that plays in daily fantasy sports. You got to pay every single time to join a match. You got to pay $1.
$5, $10.
You got to pay $3. Yeah. Your boy was popping $20 sometimes a matchup. So if my wife, luckily my wife is not a sports fan, my wife doesn't watch the stream. If my wife watched the stream right now and she found out how much money I spent on the big DK, she would cut my debit card up and cut my
Do you
credit
need me
card.
to do you need me to just block her off of here?
But with Super Draft Pro, man, they've got 3-tier memberships. They've got a $20 membership, they've got a $50 membership, and they got a $100 membership. Obviously, the higher tier membership you have, the more games you can play. But with the $20 membership, I've got 5 lineups right now in the NBA games tonight, and sometimes they'll offer some NASCAR stuff. But when it's football season, man, it is fun. It is a blast to do. So definitely for the $20 a month membership to get you an entry, definitely worth signing up. So
You're probably going to get to play at least 10 times as many games
yep,
as what you would on some of these other daily fantasy sites.
yep.
So if it, it's just the route to go, especially if you just like doing that. Maybe you want to just risk just a little bit,
Yeah.
There we go. Go hit the link, sign up. If you hit that link and you sign up, like I said, you get an entry. All it takes is a minimum of $20. Go sign up for the $20 package. You'll get an entry. We're giving both of these away. It's like a $240 value, something like that. We're giving them both away to the same person. I'm trying to make sure that I can get it. The light was all weird. So yeah, sign up, get your entry. All right, my man. So let's take a stroll. No, let's not. Let's look at the Chiefs rookies from last year. I gotta pull up the list again, bro. You could go ahead if you're ready.
I am getting it pulled up as well. I got this stupid notification that at the top of my screen that lets me know when Google's using my webcam.
Yeah.
So I got to move it out of the way so I can select the tab that my list is on.
All right. So what I did was I ranked not all the rookies. We didn't really pay attention to some of the undrafted free agents that we had last year. But we went through and we ranked the rookies from last year. And for me, then the number one, we start at number one, or you want to start at number five?
Let's start at 05.
All right.
Because one might be a surprise to some people.
Yeah.
So we want that shock value, brother.
All right, go ahead. I gotta find it. I had it memorized one to six. I can't go backwards.
So number 5 out of now, real quick, I'm going to break these down so people kind of have an idea. We had 2 second-round picks last year. It was Nick Bolton and Creed Humphrey. We had a 4th-round pick in Joshua Kando. We had 2 5th-round picks in Noah Gray and Cornell Powell, and we had a 6th-round pick in Trey Smith. So, in layman's terms, one of these guys is going to get left off this list. So, so number 5 for me is Joshua Kando. He didn't do anything. He didn't do anything to wow me, but he's still a part of the team, and I'll take that. Number 4 would be Noah Gray. He showed great spots. He definitely showed that he can be a part of this team and can possibly push himself into the number 2 spot for tight end, depending on if injury happens or anything like that. So Noah Gray makes me think that, hey, he can come in and fill a spot. Trey Smith, number 3. Trey Smith is a bully. He is a big bully.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
And you know what? If he was on another team, I would be tweeting Roger Goodell right now saying, get that guy off the field. But because he's on my team, boy.
Yeah. Trying to tell you.
Yeah. Trey Smith is the big brother I never had. Like, hey, I don't like that guy. I want you to go beat him up. And every single time I see Trey Smith throw somebody to the ground, I'm like, yeah, that's right. That's my big brother.
Well, we all seen the movie The Blind Side, right?
Yep.
Okay, so you remember Michael Oher and how protective he was of his family in that movie. We all seen it depicted. That's what Trey Smith reminds me of. Absolutely. He's the protector. He's Mahomes' protector.
That's right. And so then coming in number 2, and coming in number 2 is Nick Bolton. And let me explain why. Because Nick Bolton had 12 starts and played in 16 games. And believe me when I say this, Nick Bolton is, I mean, there's a tie for number one. I'm just putting him at number two because I got to have a number two.
Uh-huh.
But that when I had to decide between number two and number one, this is what decided it. Nick Bolton played in 16 games. He had 12 starts. My number one is Creed Humphrey. Creed Humphrey, who not only should have gotten one, Creed Humphrey should have not only gotten Rookie of the Year, he should have went to the Pro Bowl. He should, and he didn't. Creed Humphrey played in 17 games. He had 17 starts. He was under center for Mahomes every single game, and he protected Mahomes. And it's year one, baby. We're just getting
Yeah.
started.
Yeah.
So
And I got a lot to say about that one too, but I'll save it until I get to where
yeah,
he's at on my sheet. Creed
yeah.
should have been a Pro Bowler. Absolutely. All right, guys. My number 5 pick is tight end Noah Gray. And look, I had a tie for the number 5 spot because I wanted to we talked about Cornell Powell. He's the one that got left off the
Cornell
list.
Powell's Bruno. We don't talk about him.
Yeah. Okay. So Shane Buechele. I was really, really impressed with Shane Buechele in the preseason last year. He's of course, a young talent, undrafted free agent. He, to me, it was a tie with him and Noah Gray. Now Noah is a raw talent. Um, if you've been a Chiefs fan longer than the past 4 years, or 5 years when they were good, we know that Travis Kelce, it took him 4 or 5 years in the league before he was Travis Kelce. And so I think that Noah Gray has some of those abilities and some of those athletic abilities, for lack of another term, to get to that level that Travis Kelce's at. He has the potential. He's just raw. And so I put him at 5. He's tied with Shane Buechele at number 5. That number 4 spot goes to Joshua Kanda. I thought the rookie was slow to develop, but towards the end of the year, he showed a lot of promise and he really earned more reps as the season went on and started outworking some of these guys. Once again, another raw talent. There's not much refinement there when it comes to Joshua Kane, and I believe that Brett Veach is going to be relying on Joshua Kando moving forward to build this defensive line. We know that the defense is going to be a priority and has been priority, they've said it was this offseason. The moves aren't really there to kind of prove that outside of Justin Reed, but they say it's a priority. He's going to be one of those building pieces that they work with. Number 3, is that where I'm at? I agree with you, Trey Smith, 100%. And I kind of put my own input on it when you were talking about it. He's a bully. I agree with that too. He's 100% a bully, and I love it. I love it. Don't try no cheap shit. Don't try no late hits on our quarterback. Don't try no BS because he will come get you.
Trey Smith serves pancakes for breakfast, baby.
That's right.
Yep, he's pancakes all day.
Uh-huh.
Sunday for breakfast.
I
Sunday
heard
for
they were. I
Sunday.
heard they were talking to IHOP about sponsorship for Arrowhead.
Yeah.
Fake news. Hashtag fake news. All right, at the number 2 spot, I like me a big guy, and I agree with you again. Tied 1-2, Nick Bolton, Creed Humphrey. But for the sake of putting it in order, Creed Humphrey's my number 2. I like a big guy. I'm a big guy myself. And I like to see the fatties get after it. he was phenomenal. I mean, what else can you say? He came in from day one, took over that starting spot over Austin Blythe, who they just went and got from the Rams during that offseason. And we all kind of thought that that was who we were going to be starting at center going into the season, was
Yeah.
Austin Blythe. And he never even really came into the game. Creed
No.
Humphrey just took over and provided that stability in the center of the offensive line, which was much needed. It was much needed. That's where all the communication happens. And for a rookie to be able to do something like he did, incredible. Incredible. And then my number one, Nick Bolton. He got the team rookie of the year. I thought it was deserved. Though he didn't play as many games as Creed Humphrey, he made a lot more impactful plays. Sure, Creed Humphrey got down the field and threw some blocks and protected his quarterback, and he did what he was supposed to do. But when it comes to those like splash plays that can really turn a game around, Nick Bolton proved that he could be that guy. He's that guy that's shooting through the gap, getting that TFL, that tackle for loss, and getting us all fired up because now it's 3rd and 13. And now, Arrowhead's just erupting. So I thought he was just more impactful. That's what gave him the edge over Creed Humphrey.
So 2 things I want to point out real quick. Number one, Trey Smith and Creed Humphrey both played 17 games, 17 starts. Trey Smith is a 6th-round pick. So don't sleep on these. Don't sleep on these 5th, 6th, and 7th-round picks, guys.
Uh-huh.
There's value there. Like I said, Noah Gray was a 5th-round pick. Trey Smith was a 6th-round pick. 17 games, 17 starts for a 6th-round pick is just, it blows my mind, man. The second thing I want to point out is that Jaymes, who I've known for a very long time, is a huge OU fan, and he took the Mizzou boy over the OU guy.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Now I gotta reevaluate my whole life.
Yeah. See,
Exactly.
Terrell gets it, man. We find diamonds in the rough. So,
and Brett Veach is good at it. He is good at it.
So,
all right, man. So we want to take a quick stroll around the NFL. We got Bruce Arians steps down as head coach for Tampa Bay, and they're letting Todd Bowles take over. Arians taking a front office position. What's your take on this, bud?
let me tell you something, man. I debated if I should say this on the live.
Say it.
So my theory is that the NFL had talked to the Buccaneers organization, and the Buccaneers then sat down and had a meeting with Bruce Arians, and Bruce Arians is a really good coach, but Bruce Arians has shown some. He's had a few issues in the past with player interactions.
Yeah.
One in particular last year was Antonio Brown. And there was a lot of dispute about going back and forth between who was right between Antonio Brown and Bruce Arians. Antonio claimed that Bruce, pretty much told him, like, hey, you're going to play on that injured ankle, whatever. Point being, my theory is, like I said, I think the NFL spoke to the Buccaneers organization and said, hey, Antonio Brown spewing all that stuff out in the public has given the organization a bad look, and we something needs to be done here. And I think that I think the Buccaneers sat Bruce Arians down and said, "Hey, you've won us a Super Bowl. You've done great for the organization. We're going to keep you, but we want to move you to a front office position." And I don't
Yeah.
think I really, to be honest with you, I don't think Arians could, you know, argue much because I think they kind of said, "Hey, this or we move on." And
Right.
I think that's how. And I'm happy for Todd Bowles. Todd Bowles deserves that job. I've on past episodes I've spoke my support for Todd Bowles. I wanted the Chiefs to go after Todd Bowles because Todd Bowles comes from the Andy Reid coach tree. I wanted the Chiefs to get Todd Bowles for their defensive coordinator instead of Steve Spagnuolo.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in one of Doctor Strange's 14 million multiverses, there is a Chiefs Super Bowl team that has 4 Super Bowls by now because we had Todd Bowles as the defensive coordinator instead of Steve Spagnuolo. But
Yeah.
we don't live in that timeline. So
All right. So yeah, no, I basically I thought it was kind of weird that um you know the timing was what was odd about Bruce Arians stepping down as head coach.
yeah,
Um and it feels like a move from the PR department.
yep,
Hey, look, we need you guys. We Arians, you got to get out of the spotlight. We need somebody else here.
yep.
You know,
We'll let you keep a front office position if you're interested. If not, you need to go home.
yeah.
Yep,
I mean, because there's no doubt, man. Bruce Arians was a good coach. He's a brilliant football mind. He knows what he's doing. Is he ready to be a front office guy? Well, I mean, probably. It just depends on what he's doing.
yeah.
That he didn't get a
He did
GM
retire
spot,
once
so
already. You know,
yeah. And,
uh,
and he could retire again, man. He
yep,
just got another Super Bowl 2 years ago. So
yep.
Rams signed Bobby Wagner. You see that? 5 million or a 5-year, $50 million contract. How old is Bobby Wagner now?
He's up there. So
That
uh,
seems like a big contract for an old guy.
hey man, I we're considered old guys too.
I know. I say
Now.
that. I say that, and he's 2 years younger than I am.
Yeah, exactly.
31
Yeah,
years old, Bobby Wagner. He's not as old as what I thought he was. So I guess that's not too bad. Good for him. Yeah, 31.
yeah. See, we should
See,
have asked
look, I
Terrell.
got the chat in.
Terrell would
I
have.
got, yeah, bro. It's like old times, man. I got the chat in. I can just stack, fact check shit and whatnot.
Yeah.
I love it. Oh man. So yeah, good for him. I don't think my thing is where the Rams getting all this fucking money at, man.
Well, they've Von Miller left town. Um, they've had some pieces leave.
Yeah.
Um, and
It just seems like they're signing pieces every year, like huge contracts every year.
yeah,
I don't. Yeah, they're doing. I don't know who the GM is over there in LA, but he's working some magic. I'll
yeah.
tell you that.
But I have this theory that there's certain teams that as soon as they start up Madden and they turn salary cap off, their salary cap just like
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden it'll, when enough people start asking questions, then it's like, oh no, they're in salary cap hell. Like they've got to do something. Well, where was salary cap hell 3 years ago?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Les
I
Les
think
Snead. Les Snead, according to Terrell, Les Snead is their general manager, and that is correct. And Les Snead must be doing wonders for Stan Kroenke because Stan Kroenke's got like two big lawsuits on him. One of them is the city of St. Louis.
for leaving.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they weren't very happy about that. I'll tell you
Yeah.
that.
But to the flip side of that is should have bought more tickets.
Yeah, I mean, really,
Uh,
now the money, the amount of money you can make in California is a lot higher than what you can make in in St. Louis. I mean, you could fill that stadium up and it'd be the same price, but everything around it, affects the city as well, and affects it all plays together, and there's just more money. They got money.
yeah.
Yeah, there's
Well,
just more money to be had there.
I don't know if a lot of people know this or not, but Stan Kroenke is actually married to a Walton.
Oh,
Yep.
I didn't know that.
Yep. He's married. He's married to a Walton. I don't know. I don't know where at on the spectrum that this Walton sits. I don't know if it's a daughter, a granddaughter, whatever. But he's married to one of the Waltons. So yes, they've got money.
They got money. All right, bro. Let me ask you this: Would you let's play this game? Would you rather Ronald Jones or Marlon Mack?
Marlon Mack.
For what reasoning?
Just because I know more of what we're gonna get, what we would have gotten with Marlon Mack.
Uh-huh.
Um, than Ronald Jones. Ronald Jones is a very versatile player. I just, you know, I know more about Marlon Mack than I do Jones.
Yeah, I think that I'm happy with. Okay, so if okay, the reason why I asked that Marlon Mack was signed with the Texans.
Yeah,
And last year you brought this to my attention. Last year there was a lot of trade rumors that Kansas City might go get Marlon Mack from Indianapolis. Um, and I was down for it at the time. I like Ronald Jones. I think that he's just a better fit. I don't know. I also think that there's going to be an offensive philosophy change. So
yeah,
to say that he's a better fit for this offense, and then that there's going to be a change, it's just like I don't know, man. It's hard to tell, man, because we don't know how they're going to fit. We don't know
yeah,
how either one of them. Fourth round draft, Mac is okay. Yeah, he's okay. I think he's an upgrade to some of our back end pieces, but I'm not really disappointed that we got Ronald Jones over Marlon Mack. I'm excited about Ronald Jones.
yeah. No, I completely understand that as well. I mean, it's definitely not something that I'm like, oh man, you know. And I think Marlon Mack signed a pretty decent contract with the Texans. I mean, so he got paid with the Texans,
Right.
and this offseason, what I'm looking at is show me value. I don't want to go out and pay a bunch of money for somebody who unless it's a somebody. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
This year I'm looking for value. I want Veach to show me that he can. I mean, Veach has been a good draft. Like, don't get me wrong. And by no means do I mean that because we can go back to previous episodes where I've glorified Veach, beyond measure. So,
Right.
uh, but last year he struck gold. Those five out of those five picks, I mean,
Uh-huh.
he had those six picks last year, and five of them, are
Well,
solid offense. Or in
I think where Veach's downfall is, and this is just my opinion, I think in free agency.
yeah,
We went and got Frank Clark. That didn't really work out. He's still on the team, but he just hasn't been as productive as we would have hoped. We've had little projects, DeAndre Baker and Mike Hughes. I know you were a big fan of Mike Hughes, but he's gone now. That didn't really work out. And so I think that's where he's really struggled is in free agency. He's done great in the draft. Minus the whole McCole Hardman, DK Metcalf thing, that whatever. He's done phenomenal in the draft. Free agency, not so much.
yeah. But I think we can agree that draft last year is solidified
Oh
how,
yeah.
and so I would love to see Veach do it again.
Oh
Like
yeah.
like I'm from the show me state, so show me you can do that again. And I
Mm-hmm.
think with 12 picks, like we said, even if you send a few of those picks away to somebody for something,
I
DK,
think he has to hit 4. He has to hit at least 4.
yeah,
At least 4. We had 5 impactful players last year from the draft. He's got to hit 4 out of 12. That's a 33%. That's not asking much.
no,
But if we could get 4 impactful players,
no.
you know, uh, we're doing good.
Hey, listen, when you got a 33% chance, and I'm a genetic freak, so that gives me a 45% chance.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%. 100%. Clark needs to step up this year. And we've heard the past couple seasons that there's been some injury issues. Um I don't know. Like
he
there
he,
was a
he
mystery injury for a while, and
well, he makes too much money for there to be issues. So,
yeah.
he needs to step it up. And like I said last week, I appreciate him taking a pay cut. I would have liked to have seen him take more of a pay cut because he wasn't producing. But let's move on. Let's just focus on focus on what this next season brings us. It's a new season, so I want Frank the Shark to show me something this year.
I would love for him to earn his money.
Yeah, absolutely.
If we get the production that justifies the amount of money we're giving him, I'm 100% down for that, Frank Clark.
Yeah. So
So
there was a trade, and I was when I was driving up here on Monday, driving up here to St. Joe on Monday. I was listening to some Pat McAfee, and there was a trade where the Patriots acquired wide receiver Devontae Parker and a fifth round pick from Miami in exchange for a third round pick. And they were talking about on the Pat McAfee show that that's that's really odd for the Patriots because number one, it's in their division,
yeah,
and they there's and then they were talking about like, is Miami crazy? Like, they still got Bill Belichick. They're still the New England Patriots. Is Miami confident enough to make a trade to send Devontae Parker to the Patriots? Are they confident enough to say, yeah, well, we're not worried about Devontae Parker and we're not worried about you guys. We'll go ahead and give him to you.
yeah,
So that was my thought process on it, and I wanted to ask you about that. Do you think that was silly? I mean, could you imagine the Chiefs sending McCole Hardman to the Raiders? Like,
yeah.
we're
I
not.
just don't. Well, we let Demarcus Robinson went to the Raiders. I mean, we didn't send him to him, but
Yeah,
yeah. Okay, so my thing is so we get that if I'm in the position of Miami,
yeah,
we get Tyreek Hill, right? And so now we're overconfident at the wide receiver spot that we're just it just seems kind of foolish, right? How they
yeah,
were going to use Tyreek like Debo. Maybe, but Devontae Parker was a good wide receiver,
yeah.
and he would have paired up really well on the other side of the field than Tyreek. And I
And
and I don't. Who do they have?
well, they've got that Jalen Waddle,
Uh huh.
who's a stud. He'll be a
He's a stud.
fantastic. Yeah, he'll be a fantastic or he'll complement Tyreek Hill fantastic.
Uh huh.
My thing is about it is there's always that old football mindset of you don't want to give, especially a division rival,
Yeah.
you want to give them an advantage or an edge. And so my question is does that make Miami seem a little arrogant, saying, "Yeah, we'll give you
Well,
Devontae Parker. We don't, we
it
think we're pretty stacked this year, so we're not worried if we give you Devontae Parker. Go ahead."
I don't know if arrogance the word. I think what it makes them look like is ignorant.
Well,
I just think it was a dumb. I think it was a dumb move on their part. You know, we see teams go out of their way so much that they
hey,
like AFC to AFC. They won't even do it. You
hey,
know.
since we're shitting on the Miami Dolphins, where's my gig'em guys with Miami ties?
I'm trying to tell you. I was trying to tell you, and I hope my professor isn't sitting here watching me shit all over the Dolphins. I had a Zoom meeting with him earlier, and he's a Dolphins fan.
Yeah,
He knows all about Richmond and Robert.
that's
Uh,
funny.
yeah, and so I told him, I said, hey, you come check out the show. We'd love to have you there. And here we are shitting all over his team.
It's funny, man, because I mean, like Miami just doesn't never show up on my radar. But when the whole shit with Brian Flores happened, and then this today, I mean, like I said, we crapped on him pretty hard with the Brian Flores stuff, and here I am doing it again, and I'm like,
Yeah.
man, and I'm always like giving Rich and Rob a hard time, like, hey guys, don't come into our Chief stream like talking smack on our team, you know, don't do it. And
Yeah.
and here I am wasting airtime,
Giving it laying waste.
wasting wasting my airtime to talk about this team, you know. Uh,
Yeah.
so
All right.
speaking of the Pat McAfee show, this past weekend, if you watch if you live under a rock, um, WrestleMania was at Cowboys Stadium. They call it Jerry World down in Dallas. I lived in Dallas for a few years, and that's what they call it down there. They call it Jerry World, and
Right.
as it should be. It's a beautiful beautiful venue.
Yeah.
But Pat McAfee had a wrestling match on there. This wasn't his first time wrestling. This was like his third or fourth. But man, he killed it out there. It was very entertaining. He faced a young up and comer in wrestling named Austin Theory, beat his ass, and then Vince McMahon got in at 76 years old, and
Jesus.
and he wound up beating Pat and pinning him. So there was like two matches that Pat was a part of, and then Stone Cold came down, and Stone Cold beat Vince's ass and drank beer with Pat McAfee, and then gave Pat McAfee a
Oh my
stunner.
goodness.
So
I think I seen Brody post something about watching Stone Cold wrestle again.
yeah,
And I was like, oh damn,
yeah.
that would be a treat.
So Stone Cold Saturday, WrestleMania is a 2-night event now.
Oh, okay.
He made a second appearance during Pat Sunday night, so it was very very interesting. Um, and Brock Lesnar wrestled on this event as well. Brock Lesnar's been doing this for 20 years now,
Uh-huh.
and he did when Brock Lesnar took a little bit of time off from wrestling. He did, try a stint in the NFL, and
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people say that like Brock couldn't hack it in the NFL. No, Brock couldn't handle that the NFL was slow paced for him, and,
Yeah. He was too aggressive. He was too aggressive.
yeah. So
If you remember right, when I say he was too aggressive,
yeah,
so he was with the Minnesota Vikings.
yep.
And I did look, man. I looked and looked and looked for a video of this, and I just could not find anything on it. But
This would have been back in 2004. I don't think they filmed the training camps back then, did they?
I don't
unless
know.
unless it was for like a Hard
Hard
Knocks.
Knocks or something. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I looked. I couldn't find anything on it. And if you did, it would be just maybe like a fan or something like that caught it, or I don't even know. But what had happened is Brock Lesnar went completely WWE on the football field.
Yep.
Grabbed this guy, belly to back, suplex. The suplex. Who was it? Who was the player? It was just like a camp body, I believe. It wasn't no one big, but yeah, just suplex this guy right onto the ground. He was too aggressive. This is what we mean by he was too aggressive.
And, and you got to realize, I mean, that's a Division One, national champion athlete. I
Yeah.
mean, and so shortly after his tenure, his small little tenure with the Minnesota Vikings, think about that. I mean, he wrestled his last match in WWE before going to the Minnesota Vikings, um, and and there was no I mean, imagine you and I in phenomenal shape. We couldn't walk up to the Kansas City Chiefs, facility and be like, "Hey, I want a job. I want to make it.
Right.
I want, can I show up? Can I show up to training camp with pads?" They, I mean,
Yeah.
regardless, we're not in shape. But I mean, take an average Joe in phenomenal shape. He couldn't do it, but
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar did. I mean, like I said, after he walked out of WWE in 2004, he walks to the Minnesota Vikings and he's like, "Hey, I'd like to play football." And they're like, "Sure, we'll give you some pads and we'll give you a helmet."
Yeah.
So
Yeah, well, he was an absolute beast of a man. It still is, but
yeah,
you know. And just real quick, hey, if wrestling is your thing, and that's what you like to do and whatnot, my man here, he does a show every Wednesday, correct? Was it called Bad Booking?
well, no. So we do the podcast Bad Booking, and you can watch the video of it on YouTube. But I mean, it's mainly just a podcast. But also, there's AEW Dynamite on Wednesday nights. I do a post show, just kind of breaking down the show and talking about it. Bad Booking is just kind of us sitting down, just talking about news events in wrestling from the past week, 2 weeks, or whatever. So you can definitely find those links on my social medias if you haven't followed the social medias. Again, do so, and you can find Bad Booking, James House Chiefs Talk, and our Dynamite post show there as well. So
Cool. So, I was talking about Shane Bouchel earlier. I really thought that he was, or it could very well be like the future backup for Mahomes, to take Chad Henney's spot, because Chad Henney's not going to be. I was actually pretty surprised to see him re-sign this year. Um, and if Shane Bouchel steps up, he could take that spot. But it has been rumored that the Chiefs have interest, along with four other teams, in Colin Kaepernick.
that is correct.
Looking great, boys. I see you. I see you, Jerry. Appreciate you tuning in, buddy. So my thoughts on this whole deal, man. Like, I hear everyone like, "Oh, I'm tired of hearing Colin Kaepernick's name." I hear it all the time. It's still not right. It's still not right. He deserves to have a spot. He deserves to not be blacklisted from the NFL. Until that happens, it's not gonna be right. And then as of right now, it seems like the NFL's content with just letting his playing days pass by and then let's forget about it.
Yeah.
But so for the Colin Kaepernick fans, and for the people that realize, like, the social injustices that he was able to alert people of and bring awareness to, he did a lot of good things, and he should not be punished. And so I'm rooting for the guy. I'm absolutely rooting for the guy. I think he deserves a spot. And if it's Kansas City, that would be a great backup for Patrick Mahomes.
I agree. Um, I think my biggest issue is, you know, the argument always is, well, he's not good enough,
Horse
and
shit.
well, and agreed. So you could say, well, the argument is that he's not good enough, and then I would turn around and say, okay, you may say there's 32 quarterbacks in the NFL better than him, and that's fine. 32 starting quarterbacks that are better than him, but you can't find me 32 backups that are better than him, or
Yeah.
32 third strings that are better than him. And for a guy with the knowledge that he has, you know, I mean, Colin, it's been over 10 years since Colin got in the league. I mean, you could easily bring him into the roster with a young cat like Josh Allen, who's
Mm-hmm.
big, mobile, got a big arm, kind of like Colin had,
Mm-hmm.
and or a Mitchell Trubisky, who belongs in a mobile system and has a big arm. There's some upside to Mitchell Trubisky. To argue and say that he was possibly in the wrong system is a great argument. And Pittsburgh with Mike Tomlin could say, "Hey, we could bring Colin in to kind of help Mitchell be the quarterback that we want him to be."
Yeah.
So
I mean, he took him to an NFC championship game.
yeah,
You can't tell me he's not talented enough.
the argument I had with somebody, and I would shit on him and call him out, but I'm not going to. But the argument I had with somebody, they said, well, he lost his job to Blaine Gabbert when he was with San Francisco. So are you telling me that he's gotten better? And I was like, Alex Smith lost his job to Colin Kaepernick. And
Yeah.
like I said, this was a Chiefs fan I was having this argument with. I was like, Colin Kaepernick lost his job to Alex Smith. Are you going to tell me that Alex Smith was better than Colin Kaepernick?
Yeah.
At time? So like I said, I mean,
Don't worry, I'll wait.
Yeah, we've gone over this. It's very, it is what it is. But I like I said, there's 5 teams interested supposedly, and the Chiefs happen to be one of them. Jim Harbaugh is kind of taking him and keeping him and kind of letting him come to pro days at Michigan and letting him work with him. So
Yeah.
hopefully the right exposure, will get him somewhere.
Yeah, 100%.
Love to see him in the if the NFL wants to do it, then fine. I'd love to see him in the USFL or I can see the Rock making a phone call and letting him come to the XFL next year.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Speaking of, I think it was the USFL. I hear TO's coming back.
I don't know.
I heard rumors about it someplace. I think it was Donnie that sent me something on that. But Terrell Owens trying to make a comeback in one of these the USFL leagues or the XFL league or whatever, one of these other leagues.
I can see it. I can see it.
60 years old, bro.
I don't. Is he 60?
I have no clue.
He might be close to 50. I think. But
let's see. I'm gonna look it up real quick. Owens. Hey, chat. Hook me up. Where you at, chat? 48. He's 48.
Yeah.
60.
I don't know, man. Like I said, he's in phenomenal shape, but that might be pushing it. So
all right, man. Well, I know we got one more thing here. Eagles Saints trade. So the Eagles trade 2 of their first round draft picks to the Saints on Monday. Yep. And now they have 2 first round selections in both 2022 and the 2023 draft.
Absolutely. So this was huge news coming out Monday. This was a big trade. And I was listening to a lot of NFL analysts and a lot of them were like, hey, this is a great trade for Philadelphia because they get to go this season and find out what they have with Jalen Hurts, and then they can continue to build around him next year. Or somebody said that the quarterback class next year is better than it is this year. So Philadelphia could essentially see what they have with Jalen Hurts, and if they elect to move on from Jalen Hurts, they have a good selection at quarterback next year.
Yeah.
So I don't I don't I don't see that. Um, I don't think this was a smart move for Philadelphia. You know, that division is ripe for the taking. So my philosophy would be is, hey, we need to go out and get it this year. Um, the Cowboys aren't going to be as strong as they were last year, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Washington hasn't done anything
Nothing.
to
Nada.
yeah, and as
The
far as the
Giants?
Giants go, um, I mean, I'm super iffy on them. Uh,
Dumpster fire.
uh, so I mean, like I said, the NFC East is ripe for the taking, and it should have been the Eagles' opportunity to say, okay, we're going to get a bunch of talent here to put on this young team, and see what we got. Instead,
Yeah.
they've pretty much, I mean, they've pretty much told Jalen Hurts, like, hey, if you don't step up this year, like, we're going to draft your replacement next year.
And I
And
really don't feel like they've given him full support as it is.
yeah,
You
you
know.
know, that's my thing. You know, I mean, you put yourself in that position. If you're at a job and you feel like you're busting your ass and doing everything you can, and then they come to you and they're like, hey, well, we think you could do better, but if you don't, we're gonna fire you and replace you with somebody. Well, then that doesn't build me up at all. That takes my morale down, and it's like, okay, well, I don't want to work for you anyways. I'll go work for somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Detroit Lions are absolutely terrible as well. Yeah.
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 I like their head coach. There's just something about that guy that he's just got this personality, man, that I like, and I want to get behind them, and I want to believe that they can, turn it around. But we've talked about previously on this show certain teams, and and when I say this, you're immediately going to think of the top two. Immediately. There are certain teams around the NFL that are just shit organizations. They have shit owners and they have shit front offices. And the first two that come to mind,
Browns and the Lions.
Browns and the Lions. They have
Absolutely.
tried for years, years and years to turn their organization around, and they can't do it.
Well,
Now,
even Barry Sanders was like, I'm fucking out of here.
yeah. I was gonna say, Jerry, I would respectfully disagree. They definitely don't need another Barry Sanders because they ruined Barry Sanders' career.
Yeah.
You know, they
They
let that
ruined
guy,
Matthew Stafford's career. Well, they almost did until they let him
yeah,
go.
and,
Megatron. That was in,
don't let another generational talent go to that team and
that's
ruin
where
their career.
that's where players go to end their career.
Yep.
Jared Goff, he'll never be a starting quarterback on another team besides the Detroit Lions. Which I heard he just got an extension or something. And what is HBO thinking, bro? They're taking Hard Knocks to Detroit.
That's gonna be
That's
fun.
that's lame, bro.
That's television, baby. That's entertainment. We just called it a dumpster fire. Why would you not go and book Campbell? I mean,
I'm telling you.
yeah. But why do you think the Patriots have never been on Hard Knocks?
Yeah,
Could
I
you imagine?
guess.
Could you imagine Bill Belichick? I mean, could you imagine if, like, let's say that somehow Hard Knocks got the Patriots? Bill Belichick would be sending death threats to every single player. I saw HBO in your locker room. You open your mouth and you're fucking out of here. I'm cutting.
Yeah.
You know.
Hey, but like I get it. Like, okay, so you want to see the dysfunction, and you want to see chaos, and maybe them getting in fights and shit like that. But I mean, don't you want to also see basketball in the locker room, and pranks pulled on each other, like good camaraderie, and how a winning team does shit? I mean,
like I said, I think there's a specific reason why it's been the Cowboys,
you're probably right.
the Raiders, all those teams for Hard Knocks, and they've never came and knocked on New England's door, or Pittsburgh's door, or a lot of
Right.
those teams.
Winning teams, San Francisco, like, Pittsburgh. Dallas used to be a winning team, but
Yeah.
they
But they
suck.
were just on a couple years ago or a few years ago or whatever. So they've had the
Uh,
Raiders on there. They've had now the Lions. I mean, it's like I said, there's a specific Hard Knocks knows what they're doing.
right.
Uh,
So,
oh,
all right, my man.
my favorite. I don't think it was Hard Knocks. I actually think it was like the Amazon one. But when they had the Rams on there, and Jeff Fisher was like, Jeff Fisher was still with the Rams, and he was, giving a big spiel in front of the projector, and then he was like, "I'm not going 7-9. We're not fucking going 8-8, and we're not fucking going 9-7. And if I have to hear that shit again of us going 7-9, I'm gonna flip out and blah blah." And I think they went like 6-10 that year.
6-10.
Yeah.
So,
I love those shows for that reason, man. It's funny.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, I think that wraps it up for us tonight.
Absolutely.
Look, once again, I just want to thank everyone that is still here with us. I know there was a lot of people that stayed almost the entire time. We love you. We love you. Make sure you hit that like button, that share button, reaction button. Look, next week we come on. What are we talking about next week, bud? We're gonna talk about some Dick Vermeil.
Yeah, we're gonna be here on all the usual places. My Facebook, James's Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, all the usual places. If you're new here, we start at 8 p.m. Central Time. It'll be the same thing we do every week for those that stick around. We talk about the Chiefs. We get y'all involved. Next week, what we got, we're going to look at the Chiefs' needs in the draft. We're going to talk about some old Chiefs memories, specifically Dick Vermeil. He was recently inducted into the Hall of Fame. We talked about that during the season. Would love to dig into it a little bit more about how much Chiefs Kingdom appreciates Dick Vermeil, how much I do, and how much James does. James and I are the same age. Dick was a huge part of our childhood growing up watching the Chiefs. We're going to look at possible prospects that the Chiefs are going to look at in the draft. And we're going to do what we do every week, Pinky. And that's try to take over
the world. Yeah, yes, sir. Yeah, no, it's gonna be a fun one. Like you said, 8:00 next week, Tuesdays at 8:00. Hey, real quick before we jump off here, don't forget. Look, we're giving away 8x10 Rashad Fenton, 8x10 of Tyreek Hill. Both have their certificate authenticity. All you have to do, go click on the Super Draft Pro link in my description. Sign up for a $20 package. You got an entry.
There you go.
So, all right, my man. It was a pleasure.
Always.
Yeah, I will. I'll see you next week, and I'll see you guys next week. And as always, stay legendary, my friends.
There you go.
What's going on, guys? Jaymes Howell here. Look, if you enjoyed this content, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And more importantly, make sure that you smash that notification bell. That way you'll never miss any content from Jaymes Howell's Chiefs Talk. Also, while you're at it, go to Jaymes Howell's Chiefs Talk on Facebook as well as on Twitter. You can find the links for those in the description. Until next time, once again, stay legendary, guys.